I want to take you back to 2023. My son's father had just been diagnosed with cancer, and I was sitting on the bedroom floor at 11 p.m. with my laptop open, trying to work out how to keep my business alive while still being present for my son. There was no playbook for that. I really did not know what to do. I didn't know whether to keep posting on LinkedIn. I didn't know whether to email a client back. I didn't even know what showing up was supposed to look like when life felt this heavy and chaotic. But I knew one thing. I knew that I needed to build something that could hold us financially, yes, and emotionally as well. I needed the business to work with my life in times where I could be more available and then times where I could not be, in a way where I could be open and honest, and I didn't have to carry all these emotions inside me. And so I made a decision. I stopped hiding my hard parts. I stopped trying to present the perfect, polished version of myself. And I started being open around what was actually going on for me and what I was trying to build. And then something unexpected happened. The more honest I was, the more people leaned in. The more specific I got about my real life and my real journey, the more the right clients found me. That authenticity has become the foundation of everything that I now teach businesses to do. Because what saved my business was not a better funnel or a smarter strategy. It was my willingness to show up with rawness and vulnerability as a human being in a world that is rapidly automating. And this humanness is exactly what I want to talk with you about today. So let's talk about the AI paradox. We consume more content in a single day than our grandparents did in a year. We scroll past thousands of posts, hundreds of opinions, and dozens of offers. And most of the times, we feel nothing. We don't stop scrolling, we just get on to the next piece of content. But it's not really that we don't feel nothing. It's just that content lacks the depth when it's written by an algorithm. It lacks a real person behind it. And honestly, we can spot it immediately. I want to ask you something. How many times have you read a post or an email and thought that was definitely written by an AI? Today, every single piece of content can be written by anyone or anything, and they sound professional, but they say absolutely nothing. But the people you are trying to reach, they scroll past that in under 2 seconds. The moment your audience reads empty words, they're already gone. They've checked out if there's no human connection. I'm not saying that AI is bad. I'm just saying that AI is not a person. It does not have a 2023. It does not have a bedroom floor moment. It does not have a client who said that I can just breathe. We are the most talked at generation in history, and we are the ones who are most desperate for a real conversation. AI can generate a blog post in 4 seconds. It can sound professional, it can sound convincing, but it cannot replicate what you have lived as the business owner. And that is exactly where your advantage begins. So, I wanted to give you a framework today to write all your captions in posts and emails. And let's call that story, scars, and specificity. The leaders and coaches who come to me, they all want the same thing. They want to build real online authority. They want to be trusted. They want to stop being the best kept secret in the industry. So, when I look at what separates the ones who break through from being invisible to the ones who actually start being seen as the expert, it comes down to these three things. These are three things that no algorithm, no matter how advanced, can replicate for you. That is story, scars, and specificity. Let's begin with story. And I want to ask you here to think about the last time when you truly trusted someone. Your trust wasn't because of their website, it wasn't because of their credentials. Your trust was because they said something that made you feel that they understood exactly your problem. And that's what a story does. In the age of AI, this is your greatest advantage. Every professional right now can sound polished. Any tool can generate the right words in the right order. But here is what no tool can do, it cannot be you. Your story is the one thing that is completely and irreversibly unique to you. When you share your story in your content, then it shifts something for the reader or the listener. Their guard drops because now they stop evaluating you and they actually start feeling you. They're not seeing you just as a professional, they're seeing you as a person. And people trust people. People don't trust profiles. So now let's talk about scars. Scars are not your dirty laundry. They're not every hard thing or every trauma that has happened with you. Scars are the struggles that you have personally worked through, or struggles that your clients have walked through with you. Because your ideal client immediately recognizes their own life when you talk about these scars. So you can talk about the year your business model stopped working and you had to rebuild from scratch. If you are an accountant, you can talk about the client who came to you with a tax bill, but they just did not know how to pay it. If you are a business coach, you can talk about an owner who was just about to close their doors until you helped them find a way through. So, talk about real stories. When you share those honestly, something happens in the feed or on the other side of the screen. People stop and think, that's me. That's exactly where I am. And then their next thought is that if they've been through that or they've helped a client through that, maybe they can help me with mine too. Nobody trusts perfection. Perfection feels like performance. Scars create the relatability that move people from being curious to feeling convinced. Finally, let's talk about specificity. Don't say something vague like I help business owners grow. I know it doesn't work because I've done that in the past and people would just glaze their eyes. Then I started saying things that became more specific and people could understand what I was saying. Now I say, I work with coaches and experts who are brilliant at what they do, but they are feeling invisible online. They are deep in delivery and serving their clients, but then they have feast and famine months. Their pipeline dries up. No prospects are coming in while they are busy doing their work. So I help these experts build their thought leadership and attract aligned clients online. When someone hears that, then they know how it relates to them. Now, when someone hears an intro like that, then my business owners know that I can help them. That is specificity. When you talk like that, something shifts. The person's already drawn in because of your story and the scars. But when you are specific, they think, that is me. This is exactly where I am right now. And then the next thought is, well, this person actually understands my world. That's the gap between being scrolled past and being trusted. Specificity in your content is not about knowing what you do, because let's face it, you have to know what you do when you're serving your clients. But specificity in your content is about knowing who you are truly serving, what their day looks like, and what it costs them when their problem stays unsolved. And this is why this whole framework works: story, scars, and specificity, because it builds trust. I'll show you these three things in action. Now, I work with a mortgage broker. He's based in Adelaide. And when he came to me, he had feast, famine, feast, famine. He would fill the pipeline, clients would come in, then marketing would fall away because he would get busy with client work and leads would dry up. So then he would stop everything, go back out, hustle, and then start all over again. When he came to me, he said, Kanika, this is just not sustainable. He had years of experience. He had great client results. He knew his clients' lives better than most people in the industry. He had the story. He had the scars. He had the specificity. He was just not sharing any of it. So we started building his content with his story, scars, and specificity. And within a month, 4 qualified calls were booked. People were arriving ready, already trusting him because they were seeing what he could do for his clients. And then he sent me a message like, oh, I can just breathe and now I can focus on my work because I know leads will come in. So that is story, scars, and specificity doing exactly what they are designed to do. So here's what I want to leave you with. Before you post anything else this week, run it through these 3 filters. Does it have a story, a real moment, not a tip, not a framework, something that actually happened? Does it have a scar, a struggle your audience will immediately recognize in their own life or in their clients' lives? Does it have specificity, language so accurate that the right person reads it and thinks, this is me, this is my exact situation? If your content does not have all three, rewrite until it does, because that is what builds trust. And trust is what builds a business that lasts. Now, if you want a second pair of eyes on your content, I would love to offer you a free LinkedIn audit. We sit down together, we look at your profile, and we find exactly where your human advantage is hiding. You can reach out to me at Kanika Energy Coach on LinkedIn or leave a comment down below. The world does not need more AI generated noise. It needs your authentic voice, raw and real.